Hey, what's good? What's good? What's going on, everybody? Rod Scott in the building, Ghetto News, coming to y'all today with another report, more of an investigative report today. Because it's a lot of crime been going on, and a lot went on over the weekend as well. But the way I feel about it, it's enough people out here already reporting on just, the regular everyday violence stories. So I'm looking to go in other directions and do more investigative reporting. I'm gonna report on some of those stories too, but sometime I'm gonna be looking a little more deeper into what's happening in some of our neighborhoods, so we can try to come up with solutions to try to rectify and solve some of the problems that we're dealing with in our own neighborhoods. And one of those problems that and a lot of this went on during the pandemic as well too, in the early stages of the pandemic. And I see it's getting more widespread, and it's happening on a national level where Black people are being targeted for taking their businesses from them. And it's something in Chicago they call a summary closure that they use. This is the name that they use to go after businesses. And I've found through research that there's a lot of bias and double standards being used in targeting of Black people in general. And I want to start off by talking about a West Side grocery store that was shut down by the city of Chicago. And what it did was leave neighbors with less fresh food options. Because one thing I want to get out the way now as a bullet point that I want to make a point to you about right now. All these places that I'm about to show you, the place that was closed was the only place that gave fresh produce to the neighborhood. All these other places just basically sell snack stuff that's not good for you, liquor, and fast food. Just quick stuff that's not good for you. Stuff that's high in cholesterol, not good for your blood pressure and your overall health. But I just want to read a little bit from this story that was from August of 2020. And it's about the 111 grocery store on the west side of Chicago. A lot of you might know about it, and I frequent that store. It's near the Kedzie Lake area, right about maybe a half a block from the Green Line. That area has been heavily targeted for gentrification. If you look around there, you'll notice they're trying to change the makeup of that neighborhood. And part of doing that is shutting down sites where they know it can be a place for a congregation of people of the so-called people that they don't want around. So I'm gonna read a little bit from this story from you. This is in the Garfield Park area, by the way. One of the few grocery stores where Garfield Park residents can buy fresh produce was shut down by the city. The Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection and the Chicago Police shut down 111 Food Liquors at 111 North Kedzie Avenue in July. This is July of 2020, y'all. This story is from 2020, but it's still relevant today because this is something that they've been using in the target Black businesses. And I'm going to show you how they haven't been going after these other businesses, because majority of businesses that are in predominantly Black neighborhoods are not even Black businesses. So I'm trying to see how they can still be allowed to operate, but they picked this particular store and targeted to shut it down that was in business for over 42 years. A pillar in the community, and they just shut them down like it's nothing. But we got these fly-by-night businesses that can open up overnight in our neighborhoods and have all type of stuff going on around them, and nothing ever happens with them. So this was a Black-owned business which has been a staple in the area for over 42 years. Had its business license been revoked in 2019 and lost an appeal to repeat. They lost an appeal to reopen last month, but this was in 2020. Now, this was a quote from one of the family members. They blamed us for these types of crimes, but we're in touch with the police. We call the police whenever there are problems, said Verlinder Dotson, whose family owns the store. They blame us for people loitering around instead of police doing their job. By their loitering on city property, not our property. This is property that the city is responsible for, but they're holding Black people liable for like they have to be in charge and in control of what's going on outside their area. And I just want to show you a few things about that in a minute here. So the city shut down 111 using a process called summary closure. It's called summary closure, which enables police and city officials to close establishments that they say pose a repeated threat to public safety. The store is located just off the Kedzie Green Line station, which has been a hotspot for shootings, loitering, and illegal street peddlers. Now, I'm going to push back at that right now because of the fact that how are you blaming this store for what goes around in a particular neighborhood? Now, a lot of these places that I'm going to show you, a lot of you are going to be familiar with these areas that I show you. And there's nothing different going on in these areas that I'm going to show you than it was in 111. The only difference is none of the people that own these stores are black. Let's move right ahead. After temporary closure in 2016, the city required store owners to agree to a plan to reduce crime in the immediate area outside the store before they could reopen. That's what they just set a trap for themselves. Because I know for a fact on the south and west side of Chicago, 90% of these stores are non-black owned. And a lot of stuff happens around these stores that's in front of them. So they aren't enforcing this to the level that they're doing with the black people that own stores. The city revoked the grocery store's business license in July 2019 for failing to prevent loitering, operating beyond permitted hours, and failing to have required security guards. I used to frequent 111. They had security guards in there. Another lie. But the store brought on 5 security guards, 2 to keep watch in the morning and 3 at night. They set up improved lighting and built an iron fence around the perimeter of the store, which a lot of these other places don't even have that, but they're still open. Dotson also installed a new camera system and reduced store hours in compliance with the safety plans. The store's leadership team also attended every community policing meeting for their district. They was at every meeting, y'all. They did everything right and they still closed this store. And may I mention, like I said at the top, out of all these stores that I'm going to show you, them, maybe now, you know what? With one exception of one store I'm going to show you, they sold a little fresh produce too, but not really much. But this store was giving out fresh produce. And matter of fact, we can get to that right now. Let me show you guys right now what I'm talking about. This is the first area. Here we are, we're on 59th. This is around the 59th and Ashland area. Now around this area, as you can see, there's a gas station on one corner. You know, on the opposite side, there's a CVS and the aid office on 59th and Ashland. But right here is what I'm talking about. The M&M Food and Liquor Store. This is an area where people frequent all the time and hang out, you know. And I mean, it's not to say any other dealies that may be going on. I'm not really here to point that out. I'm here to point out the fact that people be around that area. It's an active area where certain activities go on, and it's a place that you should look to be safe. Now, the next place I want to show you right here, I want to show you is around 57 in Racine. And this here, if I'm not mistaken, this is Shamir Food and Liquor. Yes, they're located on 57th in Racine. And anybody that knows this area know that this is a very active area as well too. There's always a lot going on around this area as well. People hang out, even though in their defense, there's a park across the street. But once again, like I say, it's a thing where it's a community where the store owner doesn't really have control over what goes on outside of the store. And I saw someone get killed in front of the store. My mom used to live in this area. I was going to the store one day, and as I was making my way to the store, someone rolled past there and fired shots, and the person was killed. Another woman was killed in front of that store too. 2 people were ran over, which I think it was intentionally, and killed in front of that store. So that's just another area where a lot of stuff happened. And I know there's been more violent activity with people dying in front of that store. And this store has been open for many years for some reason. Haven't seemed to close them down. Now, the next place I'm going to show you, we're going back to the west side of Chicago. This is around Roosevelt and Hamlin, between Hamlin and Avers. It's called the Platinum Liquor Store. And a lot of people from the west side, they know this store very well. There's a BP gas station right next to it. And anybody know, this is a very extremely active area. Extremely active. A lot of stuff goes on around here. I'm just not at liberty to really, because anyone that goes around these areas, you know what goes on. I don't have to go into detail about what goes on. But the point I'm making is, nothing goes on at 111 that doesn't go on at all these other areas that I showed you. Okay, now the next area I'm going to show you is very well known as well too. This is the Pulaski and Lake area. Now this area, I'm gonna let the video speak for itself with this area.
It's very well known to West Side. This is on Pulaski and Lake Street. This here, I mean, this is a very busy area here. Very busy. Anybody that's around here know what I'm talking about. Very busy area.
Yes, it is.
People, yeah, and there's always people hanging around at this spot too. But for some reason, they're not held to the same biased double standard as stores like 111, y'all. This is a clear pattern of bias in my opinion, systemic racism against black people that's been going on for the longest. It is happening to us now within our own neighborhoods. We can't even open the business in our own neighborhood. This liquor store is right on Pulaski and Lake. I go by there, I'm telling you, all type of activity goes on around there. And it's been going on. But still, they remain open. On Pulaski, there are several stores, as a matter of fact, that are non-black, that people hang out in front of all night with all type of stuff going on. Yet they still remain open. Explain this to me. And this is another store on the other side of the street. People hang out on this side as well to another non-black store. So I guess as long as you're not black, you can do what you want to do in Chicago.
Well, as you hear and as you see from the video, that's what's going on at that store as well. Same thing. Okay, now we're going to go to the Franklin Food and Liquor store. 2 people were actually killed in this store, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020. It may have been 2021. 2 people, an 18-year-old man and a 22-year-old woman were killed in this store. Very well known for people hanging out and loitering near it. A lot of stuff goes on over there, and it's another one that I'll let the video speak for itself. Now we have Franklin Food and Liquors, another infamous West Side story about this store. As a matter of fact, someone was killed in this store and it was videotaped on cameras all over the news. I'll show you that story. But this is on the corner of, like I say, Kedzie and Franklin on the west side of Chicago. What would be considered the Humboldt Park area. It's Kedzie, that's Franklin, the cross street there. And at this liquor store, I'm telling you, a lot of people hang out up here as well, and a lot of loitering, inside and outside the lot as well. But for some reason, they're still open. All these places that I'm showing you still remain open. And there's nothing this is actually down the street from 111 store. This is about maybe a quarter of a mile from where 111 is located on the same street. 111 is on Kedzie and Lake. This is Kedzie and Franklin. Some of the same people frequent both of these stores, but for some reason, they remain open, but this one isn't. Down up the street there. I think I've proven my case with just this show. The list grows bigger than this here, because I know on the south side, there's a lot of hot areas, as well, more than what I showed. So y'all, we got to do something about this here, because they're selecting to be biased toward black people in general. And now they're doing it in our own neighborhoods, and they're doing it because they're looking to re-gentrify and to gentrify our neighborhoods. It's gentrification. So basically, guys, what's going on here is a situation where people are being targeted. And from what I'm seeing, it's mainly black people. I'm not seeing the demographic touching anywhere else. Black people are being targeted. And they can use this thing called summary closure to pretty much just shut your business down based off what they say in their opinion. And in this case, it seemed like there's some bias, because all these places I just showed you, they suffering from the same thing. So at this point, as black people, it's going to be in our best interest to find out who are the local elected officials in these areas, which I think I know who they already are, and get in touch with them and let them know that the next election, we're going to be looking to get them up out of here. Because this has to change. It has to change now. Black people are being put in a position where they're trying to make us a permanent bottom class, and we can't allow that to happen. Chicago is another place that's always had a lot of black people in it. For us to sit back and to watch this to go down and not try to pool our resources together and stop this from happening and come together and support one another, we're going to have to take the blame for this as well. That's all I got to say about it at the moment. Moving forward, I'm going to be looking to try to talk to Ms. Dotson to get more information on what's going on and see how we can do this to rectify this, to change this around and stop this from happening. This your boy Ross Scott, Ghetto News. I'm out.